welcome friends once again to the NPTEL module on handling large scale data using Stata. We are trying to explain the use of Stata with the core data, the original data. Now, I have already guided you in the last class about some commands, some basic commands like summarize, like codebook, like listing, browsing, okay, all those things we have done in the last class. Now, so as a continuation to our previous lecture, we have mentioned it managing data in Stata 2. So here we are going to guide you further. Last class we have shown you codebook and its compact details. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the commands for checking unique identifiers. I told you that identifier is very important for analysis. Which are the unique identifiers, how duplicates reports are important for analysis. Like if you enter duplicates report, let me clarify what you mean by that. If a variable have a repeated values, it will produce a table with number of copies, then its observations, likewise visible in our table here. These are sample result we derived, copies, observation and surplus. If there is no repeated values, it will simply give you 0 surplus. So, if 0 surplus means all the observations are uniquely identified. Okay. Now, likewise this. So, we so duplicates report, I am just going to click that. For you to operate duplicates du, okay, let me duplicates. Oh, okay, there is a mistake. Let me clarify. Okay, just a minute. So duplicates report space. Okay, REPORT, duplicate report. Then the variable we wanted to check. Now enter. Okay, so this gives information about that the copy is the variable we wanted to check has 0 surplus. Okay, so 0 surplus means no duplicates are there in our data. Okay. Now let me go through once again. Okay. Now we can also check this with our ISDS data set, how many duplicates are there. So ISDS data set we can check like here. Let me open that in our window. All right. So here is the ISDS one. Let me click OK. All right. So here is the ISDS sample data we have just opened. Now from the ISDS data again, if I go by the same command, okay, duplicates report, what you do, you can go by page of command. I have the command here, duplicates report here. Now here instead of this, what I do, I will enter the ID for us. Okay. Now if I the second one is ID, okay, HH ID is there. All right. Okay. So if I just enter, it gives me the information like this. Here how many, okay, how many duplicates copy are generated. Look at how so many duplicate copies are generated. So it suggests that there are duplicates. So just one variable is not uniquely identified. We have to go by a combining of variables for finding the unique ID. So it is therefore not coming. Okay, so many are there. Now, what I suggest you to go through this interpretation, like if it is there like 1 copy, 23 observation and 0 surplus, that means 23 observation are clearly unique ID. Okay. But there are 2 copies of such type, 22 of such observation having 2 copies are generated. So, 2 copies divided by 2, 22 divided by 2, we have 11 actually surplus left. Okay. Similarly, if then for 3 copies, type of 3 copies are of 24, but 24 for sure, if I divide it by 3, so it will be 8. Then 8, already 2 copies of 22 observations are there. If I just multiply then with that 8 into 2, 16 will be the surplus. Okay. So, these kind of surplus informations are visible before us. You can find out, and rest if you operate, you will find out differences. Now, let us understand the easiest way of tracking the unique IDs. And unique IDs, let me point out very clearly that it is very important for you to merge the data with another data set. If you want to merge, unique IDs are very essential. Okay. Or even sometimes if you try to make merging for panel information, it is very essential. Or some blocks in NSS data, there are so many blocks information they give. If you wanted to simply merge those blocks, you need unique ID as well. Now, check this ISID checks whether the specified variables uniquely identify the observation or not. So, we have already told you if surplus is there, that means those are not uniquely identified, that number of copies are generated. So, those are not uniquely identified. One, let me take a note here that single variable, that is variable in the syntax command var command, or one variable in the command, is used for single identifier. And var list, if you include var list, it include the compound identifiers list of variables. If you give, that may give that combiningly they are the uniquely identified variables, okay, that generate a single variable with which is uniquely identified, but individually they may not be. Okay, let us test it. Now, in column identifiers, what do you mean by column identifiers? In Stata, columns are identified by, what do you mean by column identifier? Rows, we have already told you, they are the observations, and in Stata, columns are identified by variable names. Variables are generally entered in columns. Variable names are always unique. You cannot have same variable names together in Stata. It always popped off with an error command or to suggest you to change the name, since the same name already exists. So, Stata will not allow you to create 2 variables with the same name, but they often have multiple parts, like the name is there. I mean, if you just add another variable with an underscore or with another addition, you have separate another part of that particular variable to identify whether that is a different variable or not, but connected with the original variable. Okay. We will tell you, we will operate everything steadily, in our successive classes we will keep on using those commands, but at this moment I am just guiding you which are the simplest way of clarifying some entries. So, let us convert string variable to numeric variable. String variable to numeric variable, as I already told you repeatedly, that string variable mathematical operations are just not possible directly. We need to convert first, then you operate. There are some, let me remind you once again that there are some categorical variables also enter a string. Okay. So, that can be further converted to a label numeric values. Okay. So, convert number variables stored a string to numeric. Basically, those are numeric variables or number variables, but stored as numeric, stored as string, we need to convert them to numeric to do our operation. So, it is very common for numeric variables to be imported into Stata, a string, before you can do much work with them, they need to be converted into numeric variable, as I just mentioned. This can happen when one of the numbers was mistakenly entered as a letter, or a new non-numeric code is used for missing. Okay. There are I mean various ways of getting a string variable in our data. Besides the manual entry as string, we have also other possibilities like mentioned here. So, mistakenly we can enter letter also in our data. So, that convert the data to string. Similarly, a non-numeric code is also used for missing, also read as string. Okay. So, now let us understand how to convert it. The command, most important command here is dstring. Okay. Dstring command is highlighted in blue color, is the easiest way to convert string to the numbers. So, dstring with dstring, you know that variable is string and by various ways you can understand whether it is string. Through code book you can understand whether it is string or not. Through summary statistics also you can understand whether it is string or not. Simply browsing the data in the browse window, you can get whether it is string or not by color. Okay, color, if it is red, it will you will get string. Now, once you have observed that that variable is actually string, you need to destring it. Okay, you need to convert it to a numeric value. Okay. So, the command is actually this is dstring, then the variable name or variable list, if you have so many variables and you simply replace, that will replace the original value and it will give you the new, that is the dstring value. But when you know that you want both the variables together, okay, you need to actually generate a new variable. Okay, let me operate here. The simplest way to check whether it is string or not, I am just going to the data. This is the ISD data, is a bigger one. Let me start with 9 string variables are highlighted in red color. Now, the blue color is in labeled numeric, okay, and the black color are in numeric values or continuous values, okay, continuous variables. All right. Now, I can just change, suppose I know that state ID, okay, I know that ID, HH and ID person, these are actually in string data, but let me operate from the NSS at this moment. We will clarify from later on from the from the ISDS data. We will clarify at this moment. Let me operate from the national sample survey, because we have already sampled and filtered the data for quick understanding. So, now what I do, I will simply dstring. Okay. Now, I told you already, I told already dstring, then variable name, then replace. Okay. So, then you just go through destring like this, destring. Okay. Then variable name, you know the variable are string or not. I once again you can check. Okay. There are okay. This is the variable. Let me come back once again. I will open that open once again the variable. Okay. I will open the NSS. Okay. Then I will operate. I will let me check once that whether that is a string or not, and I know that there are so many variables are in string. Okay. State, for example, state is in string. Okay. Let me convert it to a dstring one. All right. So, the command is here dstring, destring is dstring, then state, you just click on state. Okay. Now, if I just add comma to it, comma, then replace, it will replace. Okay. So, it is always suggested that you keep both the variables. If you have already filtered and shortlisted your data set is very minimal. So, try to keep both. Okay. Otherwise, if your your string data is not going to be useful at all, and you go by a new variable, then you may continue with that. Okay, continue with this command. Let me first start with the d string, then variable, then generate. Okay, then I will show you, like for example here let me put a comma here, comma is there, then generate for generate a new variable. I am trying to generate a new variable, then within bracket a variable name state. So, state new, I am just state new. Okay, state new. If I just bracket is not there, let me give you the bracket, shift bracket. Okay, then bracket close. All right. Now, if I just do the if I just enter here d string state generate a new variable, enter. Okay. Now, look at another state new variable is defined here. I am just putting my cursor, it might be visible to you, state, then next state new. Okay. I will just show you from the browse window, or for simplicity, for your simple understanding, br then state new. Okay, state new, enter. Now, it has shown you in numeric. Now, this is no longer in red color. Okay. Earlier, whereas you just compare these two together instead of one, just compare two together, like here you just enter state once again, state, all right, and enter, we will get both together. Now, initially it was state with red color, now state new is in black color. That means, it has confirmed us that your data is converted to a numeric number. Now, you can apply your mathematical operations for results. Let me move on further. Now, if I just replace it for your clarity, if I just do the same command d string, now it is already defined, I am just going to do it like if I just say replace. Okay, instead of generating a new one, now if I just replace it, replace it, it will convert. Let us experiment it. So, replace, okay, d string state replace, what it gives? It has actually replaced the original string to the new state now is in string, it is in numeric format. Look at this, state is now here state, you compare state and new state. State, since you have already replaced with a numeric variable, now this is highlighted in black color. Okay. Now, let me proceed further, we have already clarified. So, now we will suggest that you please go by this, then you later on you can drop that particular variable if you want, or you can replace later, but at this moment a new variable is suggested to generate new variable and operate likewise we did. Now, it is also interesting to note that just string the way we did is not enough. In case of some categorical values are entered in the string format or string variable, then in that case encoding is important. Encoding string into numeric variable is very important, just string is not enough, string command is not going to work. In Stata, variables uses either independent or dependent variable, typically cannot be strings and should be made numeric. Okay. Typically, those are not actually just by the string operation is not going to make string. But can be made numeric. These are generally of categorical variables and are often represented by string variables, which we have already clarified in the last lecture, with the names of categorical categories as the values. The categories as the values are entered, but actually not the numeric one. Okay. So, the encode command is actually in the place of d string we did in the last lecture, slide. Now, encode, rest of the commands are same, encode is going to help you. Encode command converts string variables to numeric by assigning a numeric value to each distinct string value, or that is categories. okay, and then applying value labels of the original string values. Okay. Once it has converted to a numeric value, we can then apply the label on our own convenience based on the given variable description in the original data. Okay. So, once the label is defined, we can also clarify in our converted data also. All right. The numeric version of the variable can either be a new variable using option like the way we did generate then new variable name within bracket, or a replacement or replace comma replace we did in the last slide. Likewise, this you can do it of the string variable using an option replace. Okay. Now, we did so far one interesting part, that is called string. Many researchers usually commit that mistake and got and get frustrated with the data, that the data is becoming difficult to convert, some errors are coming, they repeatedly search here and there. I think the last couple of slides are going to help you a lot in understanding the data and converting to a numeric value. The standard rule is always to convert to a numeric number for quicker operation. Okay. There are some advanced commands, they can also continue with the string value as well, but we are not dealing with that part. Okay. Now, organizing data set is another important aspect of understanding data and the large data set. The sort variable sort command of the variable is going to help you a lot. Sorting of information, likewise in data, likewise in Microsoft Excel, okay, we used to sort the variable. If there are so many variables, we just need to analyze together, we need to sort one and accordingly match whether others are following or not. Okay. So, sort observations in ascending order in a data set is generally essential. It requires a variable or list of variables for sorting. If there are so many variables you are sorting together, it by default consider first as your sorting variable, and on the basis of the first variable it sort other variables also. You might have operated in Excel also. So, the command for it sort, okay, sort then variable name, likewise this sort sort then variable name, let the variable name be sector. Okay. Then how it is like this. Now, look at what I do, browse then sector. Okay. It will show you it is already it has already sorted. Okay. Already sorted, look at this, I am going down 1 then 2 is there. So, since it is in ascending order, it has already sorted. Okay. So, let me move on. Okay. All right. If you give more than one variable with this command, it will actually by default sort the first variable and then accordingly save the data with second and third variable accordingly as per the first variable. So, you must sort each data set by the linking variable prior to that of merging. Okay. I think we will also clarify while merging and appending, we have some dedicated lectures also for it. We will clarify that it is an essential step before merging, okay, that you need to sort the data. Without sort, the variable, the uniquely identified variables cannot be in sort, you cannot match the corresponding unique ID of another data set. Okay. So, once you have sorted, that means by each row all are same in both the data sets. So, then only linking variables as well as the original variables both should be sorted before merging, and then only merging is going to be successful. Okay. Now, let us move on understanding some other operations like renaming the variable. Okay. A good variable name tells you very clearly that the variable what the variable contains. Okay. If you have named very appropriately, for example, you are working with GDP, but you have named a state, but probably you will be confused later on when you open and you have already operated with many other information. Now, state may be state name is there, but if you haven't mentioned GDP you will be confused. But okay, like agriculture, in the name of agriculture output is there, but you have given gender. Generally this mistake we do not do, but some close name we generally give, but still make sure that this is very unique in your understanding, okay, that most appropriate value must be given, okay, for better and quicker results. For our for our syntax, like rename is the command you are supposed to give. Rename, or basically if you have a old name is there, you need to rename. You know that old name by default the data set has given certain by default names as per their convenience, but you wanted to continue with a new name. That name may be very suitable as per your explanation, your model. So, you add a new name. Okay. So, old name will be actually renamed with a new one. I will tell you right now. The variable name cannot contain spaces, as I told you. There are two ways of renaming variables. There are two approaches. One is renaming is camel case, another is called snake case. Likewise, camel has a continuity, okay, continuity. So, each name you need not give spaces, okay, you just capitalize the second starting letter, all right. Second word and the starting letter you can capitalize like a camel, it is not a continuous flow, there is a capital letter, okay. And in case of snake there is a clear space, okay. This is different, distinct than that of another one. So, you need to give a space, underscore, okay. Underscore identifies for separating two different words in the name, okay. We will clarify right now, okay. So, let us operate now. Rename, so rename, all right. Rename, suppose I just wanted to rename here, state new is there, I did already define state new. Let me rename it to another one like state 1 or maybe of state India, okay. If you are working with other countries together, okay, or your data containing other countries, state of India like STAT state. Now, two approaches as I told you, camel view. So, India will be capital like this, India, it will take like this, okay. So, if you enter it will be renamed like this. Now, it has already been renamed, you can just have a look from your variable view. I have pointed out, I have put my cursor here, it is getting visible to you. Otherwise, you can also do an underscore operation like the snake view. You just give underscore, this is underscore, now India, any small letter is underscore, okay. The name has already been changed. So, state new is not there, okay, it is now state India. So, I am just going to change that state India to state underscore India, okay. Now, this has actually changed to state underscore India, all right. So, what is important now, the variable has been changed with a new name as per your own convenience, all right, and this is very essential and usually very useful, okay. Then recode and replace. Recoding and replace is equally important for work and for operation in our module. Like for example, if you have a data like gender, for example, gender is there in your variable. One is coded for male and 2 is for female, but you wanted to, when you are in a result, your interpretation will be higher, I mean positively linked towards, since higher weight is as per the numeric number, higher weight is with female, but it might be becoming very inconvenient for you. Okay, like if I go by how many males are actually impacting the society in any particular policy framework, your data is on related to any particular policy analysis, you wanted to understand or interpret through male, not female. But where female is important, female you wanted to answer through female, your weight is higher in female. I mean there is no harm in dealing with that, but for some convenience if you recode it to like female to you make 1, recode to 1 and male at 2. Okay. Suppose you wanted to do that. Now your result suppose is coming out to be positive. Okay. Your regression coefficient or coefficient is coming out to be positive. Now your likelihood analysis will be when the society is more of male. Okay, the likelihood of getting advantage or disadvantage is positively linked because of higher male members. Okay. Since you have already given a positive or higher value to male, so your relations is expected to be positive there. But I mean depending upon it is not a standard rule at all. There are many sort of example I will do it in between. Let me go by that how we are recoding it, I will explain it later. Recoding variables are often not coded the way we want, as I just said. Okay. Like in some data set education attainments, they give it in reverse order. Okay. Educational attainment like class 10 they have given 1, 12 they have given 2, for higher education 3. If that is there, higher weightage is there already. If the reverse order is there already in the data, like 3 weight is for 10th, then 2 is for secondary and 3 is for higher secondary, then that might be inconvenient for the researcher to analyze. So, you need to recode it. Okay. This command, the recode command can also be used to recode missing values to the dot. The Stata uses to denote missings. Okay. So, the Stata command can also be used to recode missing values to the dot that Stata uses to denote missings. Okay. Like as I already pointed out earlier, the Stata usually Stata reads dot as the missing values. But if there are some other entries by mistake also there might be some entries, some alphabet are entered in the numeric data. Okay. And you have checked that some alphabet has been entered and converted to a string value. Okay. And you have detected that. So, I mean it is what very difficult that which number has replaced with that alphabet. So, in that case the easiest way to convert that number to when you do not know the exact replacement, you simply convert it to a missing, okay, missing value as dot. Okay. So, recode that particular entry as dot. So, recoding command is going to be very useful. All right. I will tell you some of the sample entries for our clarification. So, recode secondary education, if secondary education is our variable name. Now, your command will be recode, then the variable name, whatever the variable name you have. If you have a dot a entry, as I just pointed out to a couple of minutes back, that you just wanted to read this as a missing value, you simply read as dot a equal to simply dot. Okay. Recode, in the command recode dot a, or even 98 is entered in the data, or 1000, I mean usually 88888 are considered to be the missing value in different data set, 88, 89, okay. Even these are the standard missing values in our different data sets. I think I told you already while guiding the data sets, we have already guided you reading the missing values in the data. So, you can recode it to dot. So, with string variables, however, you need to use the replace command, not the recode. If it is a string variable, the variable if it is numeric, so you can convert it. Okay. But if it is a string variable, recode the standard recode command is not going to work. Okay. Now, in that case replace you know that if city is a string variable and with some entry Allahabad, okay, you want to replace it by Prayagraj, okay, you have to enter as replace, not recode. Okay. Recode is going to be erroneous, it is not going to give you the right result. So, if you want to change it to another one, just change it by that name, but again it is a text, okay, but it is in string variable still now, even if you have recoded it is still converted to a string variable. What you will do for your analysis, you have to convert the other way for analysis to D string for since it is for in that case you need to go by the encode command, okay, encode, or sometimes wherever it is only in string, but not in label, okay, not in categorical labeling or categorical values. In that case, if it is only in string format with characters, your conversion will be through D string, okay, I have already pointed out. So, here for recode and replace, recode is useful for numeric variables, replace is useful for the variables which are string in nature, all right. Now, we will continue rest of this from keep and drop command, and there are other entries in our analysis in our next class. So, let me thank you very much for patient listening.